A tweet also, right?
I got you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so Timmy, you can get the tweet out. Nick will send it to you right now. Chris, one more loop, or you good? One more loop.
One more loop. The Big Play Reflog Show is brought to you by ShackNews.com. Shack News is the place to be for all your gaming needs with the latest news, guides, walkthroughs, and reviews. Like this week's featured article reviewing the all-new Lego game, Brick Tales. And be sure to check out the weekly Shack Chats, where you can join in on all the discussions using the Shack News Cortex. So if you're a gamer, Shack News is the site for you. Check them out on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at the handle @ShackNews and @ShackNews.com.
It's time! Streaming live from Cleveland, Ohio. Presenting the undefeated, undisputed heavyweight podcast of the world, the Big Play Reflog Show.
Okay, do you need medical attention?
Yeah.
What is wrong?
I don't know. I know damn about it. Attack by Chuck. To the 10. He's still running to the 5. He dips outside. He's going in. Touchdown. Sugar Drive. Ready, one. Away. Back to goal. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're doing those baseball.
It's time! The Big Play Reflog Show.
Welcome to the Big Play Reflog Show. What is going on, everybody? It is not Monday. It is Victory Tuesday here in Cleveland, Ohio. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Big Play Dave, alongside my two favorite people, Mr. Chris McNeil and Nick Padone. Chris, Victory Tuesday. We haven't had one in a while, man.
No doubt. I am shocked. I'll tell you what, mark me down as somebody who did not have any faith in your Cleveland Browns, and they went in and handled our business last night. That was fantastic to see, Dave. I am pumped.
Chris, be honest.
I'm honest.
Thoughts going into that game?
Not good. Not good. I didn't go up to the game because I was like, you know what? I'm not going to make that trip home. I hate that trip home after the Monday night game when we get slaughtered. That's a horrible drive back to Columbus, knowing that I got to wake up in a few hours and go to work. So I made the business decision to not go to that Browns game.
We appreciate that, Chris.
And we had free tickets. So, Chris, I didn't even tell you, Brett, who gave us those free tickets, he came by the Bernie Kosar show today.
Oh, fabulous.
He brought cookies and donuts.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
The one time I don't show up to, I miss out on donuts and cookies and all the good stuff. I'll leave it for everybody else. We got the W. That's really all that matters, right?
That's right. Nick, what's going on, brother? How are you?
Yeah, what's going on? Excited for the show. Excited for Victory Tuesday. Excited for our big play announcement. It's gonna be fun. Glad we got
Nick,
this thing off
you're
the
such an
ground.
announcement guy. You love announcements.
I love announcements, but I love any announcement. But I love announcements like this, where it's truly something special. It's something that's going on in Cleveland. It's something that we have been working on and talking about, and just like honestly dreaming of for a long time that we're finally putting into motion, dude. It's gonna be pretty cool.
Hell yeah. All right, so tonight on the show, Cleveland headlines brought to you by TSE. Then our featured interview, my buddy, my good friend, Mr. Tim Van Newhouse, joining the show, brought to you by Labatt, big boxing agent, promoter, manager, big wig here in Cleveland. We'll be talking with him on that big announcement, and after that, we'll talk some Cavs because we got to talk some Cavs, Nick.
Yeah.
We got to
Yeah.
talk Cavs. Let's get into some headlines. All right, Cleveland headlines brought to you by TSE. They have let us give away a ton of signed Browns gear. Tonight is no different. Chris, we have a signed Nick Chubb jersey to give away. Would you like to announce that winner? And all you got to do is subscribe to the YouTube channel for your chance at the next one. You're out for this one.
The fabulous YouTube channel that is growing by the day, and we appreciate everyone's support in this giveaway. And now I'm going to announce our winner, Dave.
Chris, one day I'm going to load in a drum roll.
We probably should do one at some point because we do give away a ton of stuff on this show, and we really need a legitimate drum roll. But our winner is Big Smitty at Ginger Snap 4004. Congratulations, Big Smitty.
That's a good one, man.
That is. Talk about timing, too. After a fabulous night for Browns football, Chubb had himself a game. Then you score yourself a great jersey with autograph and everything. That's pretty sweet.
All right, let's talk brownies because none of us expected it. We were all up late, eating candy after trick-or-treating. Reactions to that game, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, I was there, and honestly, it was different. It was a late arriving crowd. I think people were like us, going into the game. There was a lot of nerves. They did a real, give the Browns the credit. They do such a cool pregame where they shut off all the lights. They had the bracelets on like the Cavs used to do in the playoffs. Everything was dark. They played the Michael Myers intro, and the players took the field. And I think then the players started to get into it, and I think it all really started with Myles Garrett. He set the tone defensively. I think those guys really rallied behind him after that early sack, and the Browns just have the Bengals number. That's one thing that is
so
consistent.
weird?
It's so weird, but it's so awesome. I love it.
What do you think it is? Do you think it's like we finally turned the corner and we're more legitimate? We learned how to tackle. We learned how to play an efficient game plan throughout the entire game. Or is it just the Bengals? They just can't beat us.
You know what I honestly think that it is?
What?
I think Joe Burrow was scared of Myles Garrett. He understands that offensive line that they paid a lot of money for isn't as good as it was advertised, and they knows that I got Myles Garrett on one side, Jadeveon Clowney on the other side, and then they threw in a new wrinkle yesterday of sending Alex right through the middle. I think it's something completely new.
Well,
It's something that Burrow hasn't
you
seen.
know that Joe Burrow's scared because
Yeah.
after that pick, Miles was running down the field, and Joe Burrow's just running away
all the
from
way.
him.
Yep.
Chris, what was your reaction after we got that W?
I'd be scared too. Myles Garrett comes out with the Stranger Things this week. Of course,
Yeah.
a lot of people talking about the Halloween decor. He's done that before. It hasn't turned out well for us when he has. So there were some grumblings about that, but he got it done. Dressed like Vecna, he shows up, balls out, and then post game, he wears the high school Letterman's jacket from the show as well. So he completes that entire look and looks
awesome.
good in between on the field. I mean, that's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. If you could pull it off, if you're going to have that kind of swag, you got to have it on the field.
Yep.
And he definitely led the way. I mean, that you guys hit it. When you're talking about what propelled us at the beginning of that game, it was us just outmanning their offensive line right up there up front and giving opportunities to the offense until we could get into a flow. And then once we did, the play calling looked better. We ran the ball, and then we got the ball downfield. It was a nice little mix. And I thought it was an equation that worked very well, obviously, for us yesterday. And it was one of those, we've talked about it all year long. We haven't had a game where we've imposed our will on another team. In fact, we rarely have those games. And yesterday felt like one of those games.
Yep.
And that was just so refreshing as a Browns fan to watch, especially guys on a national basis. You know, when we're on that stage, there's only a handful of times you walk away a happy man, and last night I was one of those. You know?
It's been a while. Look at these stat lines. Chubb, 23 attempts, 101, two touchdowns. Myles Garrett, 1.5 sacks. Cade York, after that block, I was like, this next kick over 50 yards, like if he does not make this mentally, he's going to be in some trouble for the rest of this year.
I thought Twitter would explode.
Perfect kick.
Yep.
And it helped that his buddy McPherson missed one as well. Cooper, 5 catches, 131 yards, touchdown. I think
One pass. How did that turn out?
No, we're not going to talk about that. That was
He's
bad.
never thrown a ball. What are we doing?
His first
we've
time.
always got to do something like that, right?
He's never
It's
thrown
like-
a ball in NFL, in college, in high school, in Pee Wee football. I don't think he's
Let's
ever
do it
thrown
on
a
Monday
ball.
night, baby.
Let's do it. Said he was trying to throw it away. You look at these two wide receivers too in Cooper and DPJ.
Yeah.
I think that's a really, really good 1-2 punch. Donovan Peoples-Jones is stepped it up significantly this year, especially with Njoku out.
I'm going to give another shout out to Dave. David Bell has made some big clutch catches
right.
on third down in short yardage situations when you need him to make a play. He's kind of growing into that Jarvis Landry role. He's not anywhere close yet. Obviously, Jarvis became a slight Cleveland legend in a short time here, but I really think David Bell could become a player as that wide receiver 3. Also,
Boat.
as
It's been a slow boat.
yeah,
I'll give you that. Hey, as long as he develops, that's fine. I don't care how slow the boat is, as long as he continues to
Honestly,
develop.
like,
It's not like we're in a rush here.
Yeah, Donovan Peoples-Jones, I think we thought he was going to be better than he was initially, and he's starting to live up to that. So we'll give David Bell a little bit of time.
crazy what good quarterback play will do. I want
From our backup quarterback. Insane.
Want one more shout out as we keep looking through some of these Browns stats. I know some people, got on the Cade York hype train, and then it seemed like that train had crashed its way off the track.
We did. Come
yeah,
on.
friend of
What are you
show.
talking
Cade
about?
York.
We were like driving that train. Come on, we love Cade.
All right, well, listen to this. Cade York last night becomes the first Browns kicker, the only Browns kicker to make 2 field goals of over 55 yards in a single season as a rookie.
Oh, as a rookie. Okay, I was going to say.
No, period. No other Browns kicker. He's done it as a rookie, but no other Browns kicker has had more than 55 plus in a single season. Cade York's done it twice.
No
He is
kidding.
the only kicker.
Wow.
That's also kind of new football. I mean,
Yeah,
football has
attempt the
changed
far
kicking
kicks.
position.
Yeah.
It used to never happen back. Dave and I started watching the game.
Oh, man, we went through some brutal post-game shows in the beginning of this thing.
You see some of these, some of these tweets of people just, getting all over Cade York, wanting to run him out of town. Come on, the dude has a leg. The special teams has been a disaster, and I think he has been a bright spot in the ability to make some of those big kicks.
All right, Chris, does last night's game change your opinion of this Browns team? Are we fully back in? Have they sucked us back in?
It's all part of their evil plan, really. They bring you in. It's one of those where you get your excitement up. Now we've got a bye, so you start to look around the division. You start to look around the AFC. You start doing that mental math of, okay, how can we make the playoffs? I think there's a chance, and there's a legitimate road that we could do it. And then, we're getting our starting quarterback. We're getting Watson back. Oh boy, things are looking good. And then all of a sudden, real life sneaks up on us. But for right now, I'm just going to enjoy the moment, Dave. I've lived long enough just to be smart enough to say, hey, take the Bengals victory. I hate anytime we lose to the Bengals or lose to the Steelers, those two teams in particular, because we see so many of those fans on a day in, day out basis. Yep. And it's nice to hold our head high around those folks. So I'll worry about our next opponent here in a couple of weeks. Right now, I'm just enjoying this win.
And
what
I was
they
going to
put
say,
up on the
yeah,
night.
we have 2 weeks to enjoy it. So they
Right.
can suck us back in. We're good for 2 weeks. We have hope for 2 weeks. We can't lose. They can ruin everything in 2 weeks. Let's just enjoy this while we have it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Get some guys kind of healthy here in the next couple of weeks too. Get things set, get prepared, and let's make a run at this.
Yeah, I mean, you look at some of the guys that they could get healthy and get back for this next stretch of games. Kind of a mini season if you think about it like that with Miami, Buffalo, Tampa. If you go 2-1 in that 3-game stretch, you're sitting pretty good. But Denzel Ward, JOK, David Njoku, I think getting those guys back on the field would be pretty big.
Chris, playoffs? Playoffs?
We're not talking about playoffs. I wish I had my hot button right now. Playoffs. Come on.
Dave,
All right,
there-
we'll just
Dave,
enjoy it.
Playoffs
What?
with this team.
the
I'm gonna
Baltimore
talk growth.
the
We saw some
Baltimore
growth.
Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens.
Yes.
They don't play an opponent
Uh-huh.
over 500 the rest of the way.
That's all right. We got Deshaun Watson coming back.
All right.
Playoffs? Don't talk about
There it is.
playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Oh, there it is. All right. Any final thoughts on the Browns? We were running late, so we're gonna get on through the Brownies. We got the bye week. Nothing to preview.
Defense is starting to look the
I'm
way that
feeling
it should.
good. They're-
I'm feeling good, man.
When they
How about these last 2 weeks? What has happened to the Joe Woods defense?
It happened
week
last-
they looked
same
pretty
as
good.
last
This week
year.
they looked fantastic.
honestly, I think the man coverage was way better.
Yep.
I think the intensity was way better, and they actually learned how to tackle.
You know who's a dog? Speaking of tackling, Martin Emerson. He's made some
I like him a
big,
lot.
Big tackles. He's a tall corner, too. I think he could have a bright part of this Browns defensive future.
Hanford is a huge fan of Martin Emerson.
Okay, that gets me even more excited then.
Physical. He wants Emerson to be a little bit more physical on the line.
So, you know, in the research that I've
Yeah.
done on Martin Emerson is he was one of those dudes that wasn't that highly recruited out of high school at all, kind of fell through the cracks, didn't go to a big name high school. He's a Florida kid, so you know how competitive it is down there, similar
Yep.
to Ohio, so much talent. And I think a lot of teams actually viewed him as a safety because of that bigger
I could see that,
build.
yeah.
So I think that's kind of why he slipped and then, ultimately ended up paying dividends for the Browns. But because he's bigger, I think a lot of his offers came as a safety, even though he knew he was a corner at, 18 years old.
Crazy.
Yep.
All right, 2 weeks. We're enjoying it.
Yeah, 2 weeks we're enjoying it, man. I'm here
And
for the ride.
Twitter's gonna be great.
It's such a refreshing
Nothing to complain
Twitter.
about.
People will still find something to complain about.
On the
Nothing
internet
to-
now.
What are you talking about?
People were complaining that Deshaun Watson was liking tweets during the game.
Oh boy. All right, we're moving on. It is featured interview time in the Labatt Cave. Let's kick it off. Our featured interview of the week. Let's do it. All right, live in the Labatt Cave, we have the one and only, my good buddy, boxing agent Tim Van Newhouse, owner of Newhouse Boxing. Timmy, your first time in the studio, baby. How we doing?
First time podcast ever. I always deny getting on the podcast.
Hey, Tim, we'd love to have you on. No, I'm not doing this right now.
Sorry, guys. Can you email me?
Tim, how we doing, man?
I'm doing good.
What do you think about the studio? This is the first time you've been here, like in studio mode.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's real vibrant. There's a lot going on in here.
All right, make sure you're talking to that mic, Timmy.
There you
Test.
go. There you go.
There he is. There he is. All right, so let's talk this. So Tim,
Start at the beginning.
let's start in the beginning. So Timmy is one of my good friends, and I met him, and he was one of the only boxing managers I have ever met in my life. And I'm like, who is this guy? Timmy, Cleveland guy through and through. How'd you get started in boxing in Cleveland?
Just like most fighters do get started, they get, just grow up in a rough neighborhood. I grew up on the west side of Cleveland and just always was fighting in the neighborhood. And eventually,
It's a good way to learn.
Yeah, eventually made my way to a boxing gym, and that's what essentially saved my life. So it's been it's been a hell of a journey.
Okay, so you were a boxer.
Yes, sir.
Professional?
Yes.
Record?
1-0.
1-0! All right. Went out on top.
Yeah. Short and sweet, baby.
And so what made you want to take that next step to this, boxing kind of mogul type of role from, managing, from agency, from promoting? Like what made you want to step out of the ring and that lifestyle to kind of the higher view of a lifestyle?
I just felt like at the time when I retired, it felt sort of like, more of a forced type of situation. And I knew that I was missing something, but I just couldn't be back in the ring. So I wanted to take that lifelong experience and that passion and to dedicate my life to the sport. And that's the journey that I've been on, and I haven't stopped.
Man, you sure haven't. It's been crazy to watch your career as it's evolved. Literally, like down the street. Like me and Tim are neighbors. Like you don't find many bigwig boxing managers within Bay Village, Ohio. Like it's not a thing. So yeah, it is pretty cool. So there haven't been many boxing events in Cleveland, which is kind of strange because you think about Cleveland and some of the boxers that have come from here. It's a pretty rich history. Why haven't we had more events? Like talk about like the history of boxing a little bit here in Cleveland.
Well, we've always produced, very top elite amateurs and I think essentially what happens is all of these amateurs, they move away when it's time to turn professional. They move away to, more premier kind of locations, California, Chicago, Westlake, New York, things like that. So we can't keep them here. We need to figure out how to keep them here.
Okay. How is a good way to keep them here? Obviously, it's guys like you, but there's got to be a better way to kind of promote these kids from getting them to leave Cleveland, Ohio.
You have to provide a consistent promotional platform for them to be here, and that's what's been missing for a very long time. We used to have a club-style promoter that would keep a lot of these guys busy. That was kind of like almost 2 decades ago.
Wow.
And that gentleman was Tom Vaca, and he did a tremendous job here. And no one has been able to kind of harness the market since his departure.
Interesting. So, all right, I don't want to circle back, but want to know we brushed over that. Want to know, when was your fight? How old were you? And did you get a knockout, or was it a decision, split decision? Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was a knockout. I turned pro, after an extensive amateur career, because, it was probably about a 12-year stint.
Wow.
Competing all around the country in different parts of the world. And I didn't make the Olympic team in 2008. So a lot of the kids that didn't make that team turned professional. And when I turned professional, I didn't have like major backing behind me.
Right.
And it was a little bit discouraging, like when you go out in the professional world and you don't have like real major backing, you're kind of confused or what direction you're going to go into. And when I turned professional, it was great because it was a hometown show. One of my good friends who's now a promoter, Ron Johnson, he promoted a show here, and it was at the Nautica Pavilion.
Wow.
It was in October, so the weather was kind of beautiful. And I brought 300 people to my pro debut. It was crazy,
Wow.
dude.
It's on YouTube, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think I've seen it on YouTube.
Yeah, so I made my debut there, and then my wife now, she was pregnant with my daughter Mariah, and that's when I was just like, I gotta hang up the gloves, man. So
Yeah.
I walked away from the sport.
Damn, that's such a cool story, though. To go after such a long amateur career, to go 1-0 in Cleveland, nonetheless, your hometown at Jacobs Pavilion. I mean, that's a huge venue in October, and then to call it for your family. I think that's a pretty dope story.
Yeah. And I was just so in love with my wife at the time too. It was just like,
Someone knows she's
and
listening.
they always say, what's, it's crazy, Dave, because I'm a manager now, and I'm always like, man, these women, like, they can crush careers, they like they could, I'm like, are you married? You got a girlfriend, a longtime girlfriend, and you try to keep these young kids really on track, but it's it's hard to balance the family life and to do that. And when especially you're young, you're 19, 20, 22 years old, or, in my case, I was 22, and you're trying to like really figure out what's best for your life. And you have to stick to boxing full time. And there was, several top managers out there that were after me and recruiting me.
Oh yeah.
But it was like, okay, I got to go move away, go move to Las Vegas, or
Right.
go move to New York, and I don't get to, be around my wife or my family and stuff. So,
You're here.
It all worked out.
You're here, baby.
It all worked out though.
Hey, Tim, where do you see boxing right now? Because it seems to be at a bit of a crossroads in terms of, the professionalism. Now you've got social media stars, obviously, like Jake Paul getting into it. Where do you see boxing overall from where it was from like when I was a kid, where you had Iron Mike out there beating up people and it was a big pay-per-view event, to where it is now?
Yeah, it's not an easy question to answer, but I will say, like, in all corners of the world, boxing is huge, man, no matter what. And, sometimes we get a bad rap, for our sport, or, like corporate America doesn't really get behind us in what we're doing. But in the same sense, it's like there's so much good that this brings. It really changes people's lives who, come from the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
And through hard work, you could really, see success stories risen. And I just think that when you were coming up and you were watching fighting, everything was on free television. Now everything's premium network television or some sort of streaming company. Or
There's like
if it's
50
pay-per-view.
apps to download nowadays. It's
Correct.
crazy.
So
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's hard to bring in new fans, but what you're
Yeah.
seeing
Makes
is like you're seeing through this social media now that younger kids are really paying attention
Yeah.
now, and you're getting new audiences from the likes of Jake Paul, your Ryan Garcias, your Tank Davises, and things like that.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you about Jake Paul because obviously a fellow, Cleveland kid, he fought here in Cleveland in a pro match against Tyron Woodley, who is a, kind of decorated fighter, more so in the UFC. What do you think he's done for the sport of boxing, or as kind of a traditionalist, you are? Do you think it's a good thing what he's doing right now to kind of really promote the sport, use millions of followers to draw young eyeballs, or is it a little bit of a meme just because he's beating up on, some of these guys that are just, a little bit out of their prime, not his same age, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I don't think it's a meme. I mean, this guy's taking it serious. And I mean, did you see his last fight? I mean, this dude was fighting, man.
Yeah.
Like, you could see, like, he has so much heart, and the fundamentals are there now. Like, when he first got in there, you didn't see like some of the good fundamentals that you see now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Obviously he was a big, strong his physical attributes really helped him inside the ring, right? And his power. But now it's like,
But he wasn't a boxer.
but he
And
wasn't
now
a
you look at
boxer, but
him.
Now you look at him and you're like, holy shit.
We're watching this together, and
You're like,
his
holy
technique.
shit, right?
Yeah.
This guy is doing big stuff, man. Really proud of this guy, because this sport is not easy.
No.
I mean, for him to look that good, it's a compliment to his team, his corner and his team and his commitment to the sport.
Yeah.
He's really dedicated.
All right, so he's in Westlake, Ohio. Full circle. We've got a big announcement that we're making tonight. I've already been getting some texts while we're on the show here because it is in the title, so I forgot that. So spoiler alert. Timmy, what are we bringing to Cleveland, Ohio, specifically Westlake, here in, a month and a half?
Yeah, a month and a half. We're bringing world-class boxing to Westlake, Ohio. via Big Play Boxing. You know what I mean? And it's gonna be sensational. It's gonna be sensational. I don't even know how we kind of ended up here. It's like, we've always had like, on the golf course or in the garage, and Dave would always just be like, man, we gotta do a boxing event, and
Well, so we've gone to a couple here in Cleveland over the years. One at MGM, one at the Temple, the Masonic Temple, and we're like, oh, this is really, really cool for the city, but it wasn't the way we wanted to do it, Like, so you look at some of those events, and then you look at what we want to do. This is going to be a very, very cool night for the west side of Cleveland, for all of Clevelanders, to go into Westlake, get dressed up, have a world-class boxing event of Cleveland fighters who you don't know, and there's how many fights are going to be on here about?
we have 9 bouts scheduled. So
This is gonna be an event, man.
it's gonna be sensational, man, and it's gonna be first class. I mean, like, being at all of the events around the world, with some of my fighters and my different colleagues in the sport and stuff, and you kind of pick up on everything that works over the years, and then you build this vision, I think that, like, we're gonna have the best club style boxing event that you've ever seen in the city, for sure.
So I bet you there's a lot of mainstream boxing fans out there, or maybe not even boxing fans, but who would just love to go sit ringside at one of these events, or sit up close and actually see these boxers up close and watch these fights. We haven't really had an opportunity in Cleveland to do that, and that's what Tim's bringing to Westlake through Newhouse Boxing. Chris,
and these are pro fights. Like, could we just like take a moment to say that they're pro fights? There's a lot of stuff going on right now on the internet with all these influencers and stuff, but Tim is bringing literal professionals to Cleveland for this event.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
So,
great night, man.
so
A night
so
to
I'm going to
remember.
need some advice for somebody, myself, going to this fight. I'm really excited. Never been to a fight like this. Never been to a fight night like this. What is your advice to the first timers or people who are out there listening right now, thinking about coming? Like, what's the attire like? What should they expect for the night? And then how do you really watch boxing? What do you kind of watch for as a newbie to this world?
talk to Chris like he's a 6-year-old.
Yeah, I think newbies
Explain it to me like I'm 5.
Yeah, what newbies are looking for, man, they're looking for heat. They're looking for action,
Right.
live
Right.
entertainment, like just, a lot of vibrancy, a lot of good energy. People are, there's going to be a lot of, celebrity guests in attendance. Some of, boxing's, top personalities will be in attendance, along with, some of the area's, top rising prospects. So people will be in the building dressed to impress and to just have a great night.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, and we're gonna be there. which is
Well,
the
yeah.
best
So,
part.
Nick, are you going to do a little play-by-play, a little color commentary?
Yeah,
So we're going to
man.
stream this sucker.
I think that's the most exciting part, right? Is this is going to be streamed. Big Play is going to bring it to you guys. It's going to be on all your typical suspect social media platforms that you're used to watching our shows, except it's going to be this first-class boxing event. We're going to hop on the mic, like Dave said. I'll be, providing some color commentary and just bringing that vibrance to the night. And it's going to be a fun time. It's really going to be something special brewing in Westlake.
Well, and we're doing it in December, like in
Yeah.
Cleveland in the winter. Like, there's so many times you get cabin fever and you just
On
you
a
haven't
Friday,
gone
yeah.
anywhere. It's just gonna be a cool night out in Cleveland, Ohio.
And it's just before the holidays kick off. Maybe we might have like elf ring card girls or something, you never know.
You never know.
Everyone's going to be in the holiday spirit, and it's not too close to Christmas, but perfect timing. I think it's going to be a hell of an event.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Which what are you looking forward to, I guess I want to say, that's going to make this event different? Because you talk about so many of the different cities that you've gone to, during your fighting career, during your career as a promoter, as an agent, with guys that you've worked with. What do you think is going to make this event so special, and what's the thing that you're most excited about for it?
I think it's just our community. I mean,
Yes.
we live, a rock away from Westlake, Ohio, here in Bay Village, and I mean, by popular demand, everyone has said, Timmy, it's time to put on a boxing event, and we're putting it together. We've been in talks. Like, fortunately, in Bay Village, we're friendly with all the top executives from mini corporations, all the young entrepreneurs that are thriving. So we've already sold out of all of our VIP tables. We haven't even announced.
But we
today's
could.
today's the first announcement.
But we could add a couple more.
Today's the first announcement, in 22 VIP tables gone.
Yeah.
Like that. Thanks to Bay Village.
Yep.
So it's gonna be a hell of a night, man.
It definitely is. What Cleveland celebrities, athletes, influencers would you want to see in the ring? And I know this is completely different, completely separate
ring.
from
Oh,
this
wow.
event. Who would you want to see? If you could name anybody. I mean, we've seen what Jake Paul's done.
That's a good
That's a
question.
very good question.
Bernie versus Hanford.
No, come on. They're bros.
I don't. You know what? Like, I don't like. I would like to see MGK in the ring.
Okay.
The reason why
He's
is
got
because
height.
Yeah.
MGK has so much energy, dude. Like, I've been with him like live on stage before at Summer Jam, and the way he gets the crowd, like, he's an entertainer, and I think like he could really do some cool shit in the ring, So I'd like to see him in there.
That'd be super.
know?
Yeah, that'd be super cool.
Who would MGK fight? Who would be? Because how tall is he? He's a pretty
tall.
tall dude.
Yeah, he's pretty tall.
Sir Yacht.
Chris,
There you go, Chris. Chris is a tall
go.
dude.
glove up, champ.
Or we could do like Hayden Grove. You could do singers because Hayden's a singer too.
Oh, there you
He's
go.
kind of a tall dude.
Dude, what about
There you go.
Chubb, dude?
Nick Chubb.
Put Chubb in the ring.
Nobody would want to
Oh
go in
my
there.
God, he'd run him over.
We're not risking it. We're not risking it. No boxing event for Nick Chubb.
Damn.
No.
I could see him Mike Tyson style, hands up, just stalking you down.
All right, Timmy. How can people buy tickets to this event, and when is it? Give the who, what, where, when, why.
We're going live December 16th. Doors open at 6 o'clock. You can buy tickets on eventbrite.com/newhouseboxing. And if you know my number or Dave's number, you could hit us up.
Don't give it out.
Yeah, don't give it out. It'll be all over social media. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, so just looking forward to it. And thanks for talking me into this, Davey.
Oh yeah, he didn't want to come on. He didn't want to come on. Tim Van Nieuwhouse, everybody. We will see you December 16th in Westlake, Ohio, for one hell of a night in Cleveland. Some big play boxing, Timmy. All right, and we've cut Tim out like he's not even here. Tim, you can go to bed now.
Peace.
All right, we're going to finish the show here with a little Cavs talk. That's loud. All right, we'll let Tim get out of here. One more round of applause for Timmy.
I'll
All
tell you
right.
what, I've been fortunate
What's
enough
that?
this year to do some pretty cool things,
Yeah.
And this boxing thing, I am really, really looking forward to. This is going to be fun. It's going to be something unique. It's going to be something a little different. And you guys hit on it too. You get to December, man.
Oh, yeah.
You're looking for a reason to get out of the house, a time away from the kiddos for a little bit and do something that's adult, right? Like,
Right.
I'm so used to doing things that are not adult, and having kids and everything else. And this is going to be a fun night out. So this is going to be great. I can't wait.
It's gonna be fun. Chris, are you excited to hear my commentary?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Nick.
boy.
I am.
Oh, boy.
I cannot wait for this.
That's gonna
Have
be
you
the
been
start of
working
the-
on it? Do you?
Oh, I've been working on it. So yeah, you could ask
Ready
Cam, my
now?
girlfriend. Watched the Jake Paul fight this past weekend, and I know Dave and Tim were watching it too. I had to watch it by myself, turned the TV on mute, and I was just giving it my best go. So yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for December 16th.
Heck yeah. All right, let's talk some Cavs. 5-1. We've got an interesting stretch coming up. We've talked about it on the shows previous to this. Donovan Mitchell's incredible. Jared Allen's doing well. Mobley's coming into his own. The whole team is just incredibly fun to watch. We got some interesting ones. So Wednesday we've got Boston. Nick, I think you're going to that.
I'll be there.
You're pumped for that.
That's no gimme, though.
That's
That is
no
no
gimme.
gimme. I
No.
get what happened last time in Boston, but that is a good basketball team. That's not a gimme.
And then we got Detroit.
Oh, is anybody thinking that's a gimme?
I don't
mean,
think
come on.
so. I don't
know.
think so.
I don't think anybody was going in thinking that's a gimme.
No.
I mean, that was a good battle the last time, and we
Yeah.
knew. I mean, going into it, you're just listening to all the commentators say, "Well, this is the type of game we'll find out what kind of a team we are."
Yep.
You know, if we could play them tough, that would be really a nice feather in the cap.
Yep.
It's like, well, I think we could win.
Yeah.
Anybody gonna give us a chance? And sure enough, you know what happened. So, yeah, I think that's gonna be a great game at home.
Yeah, so we've got that. We got Detroit. We got both LA teams after that. Obviously, these are on the road. And then we've got Sacramento, and then we've got Golden State to kind of round out that West Coast trip. Nick, what's impressed you the most about this Cavs team thus far?
Yeah, I think it's got to be Donovan Mitchell, right? And you know me, Dave. I'm a West Coast basketball savant. Nothing gets me going like staying up till the 10 o'clock tips. There's something special about it. We were just talking about it with Tim. There's not much going on in the winter. You stay up late, you watch some basketball. It's been one of my favorite things to do as a kid. So I watched a lot of Donovan Mitchell when he was in Utah, and I knew that he was really good. But the Cleveland fan in me said there's no way that a Cleveland sports team brings in a superstar in his prime and it goes off without a hitch. But
Yeah.
surely enough, knock on wood, throughout 6 games, it has gone off without a hitch. And Donovan Mitchell looks like an MVP candidate. I mean, you look at some of these sports books, they had his betting odds before the season at plus 6,000 to win MVP. He's cut that in half. He's plus 3,000 now to win MVP. I think everybody nationally is starting to realize how good of a player he is, and it looks like he's becoming even better as a member of the Cavaliers.
Yeah, I mean, he's the obvious choice. He's been a superstar, MVP quality. Look at this, Chris, some of the role players that have been stepping up. Which has been the most surprising to you? Chetty, LeVert, Love, D. Wade, all playing pretty well.
Yeah, I could say positives about all of those guys, but I'll tell you what, LeVert the other night, between him
41 and 41.
him and Mitchell, yeah, putting together that game where they scored 81 points together, or 82 points or something. I mean, that was fantastic. And that's the kind of thing, this is really obviously early in the season, and this is a young team, and you've got a lot of new parts. So we knew that there was going to be some time where they're going to be making adjustments, kind of figuring out what their roles are going to be on the team and what that's going to look like. And then you lose Garland, that stupid poke in the eye in game 1. So, and you would not have figured that they would be 5-1, right?
No.
I mean,
No way.
They're just making it up as they go along,
Yeah.
essentially. At this point, I mean, you don't have enough games played where you really have a fully cooked strategy, and they're looking pretty damn good. I cannot wait to watch this thing progress through the season as you really get down what the rotations are going to look like, especially once Garland gets back, and you get into a nice flow. Boy, this team is going to be something special. I hope this continues because I have been impressed. They have come out. I had a high expectation for this team, and kind of unfairly, because I think they overachieved last year, but I still, I figured, okay, if they did what they did last year, I expect them to take that next step, and so far they have been. And
While adding a superstar.
big injury. Yeah.
yeah, seriously. Nick, this West Coast trip, what are you expecting out of the team?
It's tough, bro. Whenever
Yeah.
you go west, it could be, remember during the championship years, 2015 through 2018, those West Coast teams will always test you. So just stay afloat. It's a great opportunity, and I think JB Bickerstaff does a tremendous job at bringing the guys together. They're such a close-knit group already. Just keep riding off of that. And you play some, rough opponents, I would say, throughout that stretch. I mean, the Kings aren't all that great. How about, I think there's a 1 in 5 kid from Akron in Los Angeles that's probably kicking himself a little bit for signing that big extension. So I definitely think there's some bottom feeders on that West Coast trip that the Cavs could keep stacking up wins in that win column.
Oh boy. It's fun. This is a
Exciting
fun
stuff.
week to be in Cleveland.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I'm excited to see, too, with just Darius Garland getting back into the fold. Obviously, he's questionable for Wednesday's game against the Boston Celtics, so that means that they're pretty confident that he'll be coming back soon. It all really depends from what I understand about the swelling of that eye. So he's excited to be back, and I think it should just take everything to the next level, right?
I also love
Yeah.
the element of having the quirky, goofy center, Robin Lopez, on this team.
Rolo.
That backward shot that he put in. I mean, he gets on the floor.
We were at the game watching this, and we're like, Varejao. It's just like a
Yeah.
clunkier Varejao, and he was very clunky.
And right before he made that shot, Dave, I was saying, I love this guy. I love this guy. And he goes and makes that shot. And it's like, that's why. He's just the goofy. You've always got to have that sideshow Bob type of guy.
Yep.
And he fits the bill, I think. And I love it. The long socks, the doesn't care about the hair, doesn't care about, keeping himself, looking like some of these other guys all trimming with, I don't know, all the latest Nike gear and everything else. He doesn't care about that. He just looks like a rec league player.
And he's
Yeah,
skilled
yeah.
too. They understood that they needed a backup center, and they went and got a skilled one. Think of last year, some of the guys they went through. They went through Isaiah Hartenstein. They tried that. A couple years back, they tried Ante Zizic. Remember the Moses?
Oh my
The
God.
Moses Brown 10-day contracts from last year. So they've been chipping away at this backup center thing, and they finally got a good one.
Heck yeah.
And we still have Rubio out there at some point too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so much good to come.
When Kevin Love was having a great game, last game I think it was,
Yeah.
he just goes over and hugs Rubio. They're all smiling. I was like, this is going to be, dare I say it, a super duper fun team to watch
Oh,
this year.
the meter.
I don't have the
fun meter
meter.
coming back
I don't
out.
have the meter. I think the meter has gone away.
Oh, come on.
Why? We'll bring it back at some point.
All right.
All
Just
right,
bring
Nick.
the angry Ken meter over here. We'll just turn it around for the Cavs and make it a fun meter.
His meter, believe it or not, is still angry. Somehow, some way.
Yeah, it's aggravated /
Angry. I haven't watched the show yet, but I'm sure I'll find out why.
Oh, before we end the show, by the way, I just wanted to throw this out there. Chris, I don't know if you saw my bet, but I finally hit a bet. I live bet the... Thank you.
Let's take a moment.
Finally hit one. Live betted the over of the Browns-Bengals game when it was 0-0. Was that after the first quarter? Was it 0-0?
Dude, that was an uber confident bet.
It was 30.
Wow.
I was like, this is going to hit. And I can't
done.
wait to share more of these when we have a sportsbook sponsor, which I believe will be coming up here in the very, very near future. So that's exciting as well. Dun, dun, dun. Speaking of announcements like Nick. All right, let's call it a show. Nick, you take us out. You got the cool graphic in the back there.
All right, love it. Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of the Big Play Reflog Show. Huge thanks to Shaq News. Go check them out. All the best video game content online. ShaqNews.com is the place to be. Go drink some Labatt. Huge thanks to TSECleveland.com. Follow them on Twitter at TSECleveland and subscribe to the Big Play Reflog YouTube channel. We're giving away a ton of signed Browns merchandise. You don't want to miss any of that. And also, get your tickets, eventbrite.com/newhouseboxing. It's Big Play Boxing, December 16th, Westlake, Ohio. You don't want to miss it. Be there, and we'll see you there. Peace out.
It's time! Streaming live from Cleveland, Ohio! Presenting the undefeated, undisputed heavyweight podcast of the world, the Big Play Reflog Show!
Okay, do you need medical attention?
Yeah.
What is wrong?
I don't know. I know damn about it. Attack by Chuck. He's to the 10. He's the running to the 5. He dips outside. He's doing it. Touchdown. Swing on drive. To deep left. Away. Back to goal.
It's